The PlayStation Showcase was yesterday, and Xbox did not wait any time before mocking the show. Yo, what is up? This is Randall Thor 19, the man with the million, back again with another video. Hope you guys are having a great week. Guys, do me a huge favor. Please hit that like button as well as the subscribe button if you haven't already. And let's dive into the PlayStation Showcase and a little bit of that cheeky Xbox response that happened almost immediately following what PlayStation had to show. And then maybe talk a little bit about one of my least favorite websites out there, GamesRadar, because they are definitely engaging in what a lot of people would call clickbait, and might be one of the main reasons when people talk about media bias against Xbox, that website is probably at the top of the list. But anyways, yesterday was the big PlayStation Showcase. PlayStation fans had waited some 600 days, almost 2 years since the last show, and they were expecting a roadmap from Sony first party, because quite honestly, after Spider-Man 2 comes out this fall, which we didn't even get an actual release date for Spider-Man 2, by the way, assuming it's still coming in September, but I guess they weren't confident enough to actually announce the release date during the show. A lot of PlayStation fans, or people who own the PlayStation 5 for exclusives like myself, were wondering, okay, what does your 2024 look like? What are all these studios that you purchased very recently working on? And we got some answers to it, but now we have more questions, because games that people assumed were going to be there, like Last of Us Factions, that was a no-show. So not only do you not get a roadmap of what the future looks like beyond Spider-Man 2, the games that Sony did announce from their new first parties were all revealed with CGI trailers. So you really couldn't get a good grasp of what their games were. Take, for instance, the very first game, which kind of set the whole tone for the show, was the reveal of Haven's new game, which is some payday PvP type experience, at least judging from the trailer, completely CGI. Looks like a game Ubisoft would make, which is appropriate considering Haven is made up of a whole bunch of ex-Ubisoft teams, but I don't know what to really make of it. It's CGI. I don't know how it's gonna play. I don't really know what it's gonna look like. And that line of thinking extends to Concord from Firewalk, another studio that PlayStation bought, and all we got was a 20-second trailer in space with a nice little look at a jiggly space burger, and that was it. So a lot of people are scratching their heads wondering where the hell the rest of Sony's first party were, and why the hell they relied on CGI trailers. So what did I think of the show? I mean, I gave it a C. There's some games there that I'm looking forward to playing. Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta, which is the remake of Metal Gear Solid 3. Spider-Man 2, of course, my game of the show, which was Alan Wake 2. And there were some smaller indie titles. The game from the developers of Gris, which I can't even remember the title right now. That is something that stood out to me, as well as Sword of the Sea from the developers of Journey and Abzu. So there were some titles that I looked and saw, you know what? I want to play these whenever they do come out. However, if you rate it for stuff that was just coming only to the PS5, especially for a showcase that you waited 2 years for, well then I would probably give the show a D. And when I did give it a C on Twitter, I actually got yelled at. I guess I was too high. But when you watch a show like this, because of previous PlayStation history, when you see a third-party title that's not announced for any other platform, you start thinking in the back of your head, well, is this game gonna come to Xbox or Nintendo or even PC? Because we all saw what happened to Final Fantasy VII Remake and Final Fantasy XVI and Silent Hill 2 and Knights of the Old Republic, right? Sony buys up third-party exclusives all the time, and you never know if those games will come to your platform of choice. So during the showcase, people were wondering, what is exclusive and what is going to show up on other platforms? And well, Xbox made sure to tell everybody almost immediately after what is multi-platform and what is coming to Xbox. And a lot of people assume that they were mocking PlayStation that it was a shots fired scenario. I mean, as soon as the show was over, Xbox tweeted out this, and it's now their pinned tweet. What a good looking group, showcasing at least 12 of the games at the PlayStation show that are also coming to Xbox. And you can see the metrics there. 3,700 replies, 14.6 thousand retweets, 54,000 likes, and 8.8 million impressions. Now, if you go look at any of the PlayStation tweets during that same time period about the show, none of them compared to Xbox's tweet. So Xbox's tweet about the PlayStation Showcase was bigger than any PlayStation tweet about the showcase, because most people thought this was a savage attack. Most people were like, damn, this is what we want to see from Xbox, to be aggressive. So judging from this tweet, the Immortals game from EA is multi-platform, so's Ghost Runner 2. Marathon from Bungie is also coming to Xbox, which isn't a surprise because Bungie stated when they were bought by PlayStation that they were going to be a multi-platform company, and well, it looks like they're living up to their word. Marathon, which is going to be a PvP extraction shooter, is coming to Xbox day one, as well as PC. So much for those PlayStation exclusives not coming to PC day one, huh? A lot of that at the show. Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta coming to Xbox, Dragon's Dogma 2, Alan Wake 2, Nevo, the Cat game, Assassin's Creed Mirage, the Talos Principle 2, Teardown, and the Pickley Squire, I believe, is the names. So those games are coming to Xbox, and Xbox made sure that their fans knew it almost immediately when the show ended. Now, a lot of people look at Xbox's tweet as just console war, but I think it's actually very smart, very good business to do, because you gotta let people know what's coming to your platform, and they did it in a really good way. Because there are websites out there, when, for example, Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta was announced, the tweet only included the information that it was coming to the PlayStation 5 and not the PC or Xbox. So somebody who sees that, who's not really following along really intently about the game itself, doesn't see that Konami announced it for everywhere, doesn't see the Xbox tweet, they might think to themselves, oh my god, Metal Gear is only coming to the PlayStation 5. And this is sort of where the media bias, at least a lot of people believe, there's some sort of bias against Xbox. When you have websites talking strictly about announcements for multi-platform games and only mentioning one platform, or only saying it's on PS5 and PC and forgetting Xbox. And Xbox fans kind of raise an eyebrow at those sort of things. Now, I want to take a look at one of my favorite clickbait websites out there, the one that's just basically a puppy farm for SEO stuff, the one and only GamesRadar. Because, you know, I respect other people's opinions. I didn't particularly care for the show that much. I thought it was mid. You know, I gave it a C, but if I'm judging it strictly on PlayStation content, it was a D. And I think a lot of people agree with my sentiment. In fact, some people would say it was a complete F and a disaster. But there are other people out there that really enjoyed the show. However, I just had to talk about GamesRadar because look at the headline on this article. Even with a few big hitters missing, the PlayStation Showcase was nearly perfect. Nearly perfect. Man, I had a complete laugh out loud moment when I saw this article last night. I couldn't believe it. Now, I'm not saying you couldn't like the showcase or whatever, but to call it nearly perfect, and then to qualify this statement by saying, even though there's few big hitters missing, right, saying that, yeah, the showcase didn't show much, but it was still nearly perfect. And what does the byline say? With its action-packed showcase, Sony has cemented its position as the leader of the pack. Well, nobody's doubting that PlayStation is the leader of the pack. They are the market leader, and they will continue to be the market leader. This showcase isn't going to stop that. It's just that some PlayStation fans wanted to see more of a roadmap, and all they got was CGI and Spider-Man. But hold on, it gets a lot better, because the same website posted this article before the showcase that said, all Sony needs to do at the PlayStation Showcase is show up to keep Xbox on the ropes. That's right. All they gotta do is show up. They could just show a whole bunch of third-party multiplats, whole bunch of CAC games, whole bunch of trailers for movies like they did with Gran Turismo. And you know what? They won. They don't even need to do anything. You just need to show up, and we hand you first place. So I'm not really surprised that their follow-up article was the showcase was nearly perfect. I bet you that article was pre-written, and the guy couldn't use perfect like he wanted to. It had to be nearly perfect. And who knows if it's even the same author, because I'm not giving this website any of my clicks. But then it even gets worse. This is the website that a lot of Xbox fans point to as clickbait journalism and the leaders in basically some sort of Xbox media bias. And when you see these articles, you do have to kind of scratch your head and be like, what is exactly going on at GamesRadar? They have been pumping out all these Starfield articles for a while now. And look at the most recent one. Really look at the title of this article. A Starfield fan passed away from cancer after learning of the delay, and now fans are campaigning to add his likeness into the game. Hey, Bethesda has done stuff like that. Super fans passing away, adding their likeness into the game. It's things that have happened. But if you really look at that title, it basically implies that the dude died because of the delay. A Starfield fan passed away from cancer after learning of the delay. This article's headline needed to be completely rewritten because the way it's presented means that the delay killed the poor guy. But then we can go down the rabbit hole even more. I saw this on the Starfield Reddit with the header, a compilation of stupid clickbait journalism, and it's all from Game Rant, all about Starfield. Like, look at this. Going the hard sci-fi route for Starfield means its character creator might not hold a candle to Saints Row. One Death Stranding 2 feature could make it the next big thing for Starfield fans. Starfield's procedurally generated planets may already pale in comparison to Star Wars Jedi Survivor's universe. The pressure is on Starfield after Redfall's lackluster reviews. Redfall's shaky launch has left Starfield fans concerned. Starfield's loss is a gain for the Outer Worlds too. Starfield's loss is Avatar, Frontiers at Pandora's gain. Starfield loss is a gain for Naughty Dog's rumored sci-fi game. The scale of Starfield's hard sci-fi universe may be too big for its britches. Starfield's procedurally generated planets have already dropped the ball on navigation. I mean, I don't know what else can really be said after seeing all those articles. It seems that they have these authors working as some sort of puppy mill to put out consistent articles about Starfield so that they're ranking #1 in SEO for that game whenever the game does actually release this September 6th, so they can be #1 in search category. But it just looks so odd. All those different articles basically all revolving around why Starfield may not be that good or why other games might benefit from Starfield going to one direction. It's a completely weird way to talk about the game. So what do you think about Xbox's tweet? Was it aggressive enough? Let me know what you thought about PlayStation's showcase and the letter grade you would give it in the comments below. And what do you think about GamesRadar? Let me know all your thoughts down below, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the like button. Please subscribe if you're new. Check out the Patreon for the Xbox 2 podcast. Link is in the description. Thank you guys for checking out the video. Love you all. I'll see you in the next one. Later.